Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is the Cozy Junk Studio. I thought that we would do the intro to this video out of my sunroom. It is a beautiful day here in the state of North Carolina. I am enjoying the sunshine. If you have been here for a while, you know that we like to do dark and moody and a little bit of messy. Today's video is going to put some dark and moody style together with some fall. So now with that being said, let's get on into this video. This first project is a styrofoam mannequin head. This falls under the sort of dark and moody and maybe just a tad creepy to some people. But every time I make one of these, they sell in my antique booth. So I don't have any in there right now, and I thought that I would add one to this video since I've not made one of these on a video. I'm going to be using Mod Podge for this project because I feel like Mod Podge works the best for this type of project. Where it's very thick and sticky, it gets down in those little crevices of the styrofoam head. This one's going to be fairly simple. I'm just going to be laying the paper down, smoothing it out, using a water mister to help soften the paper because it likes to wrap around better that way. I'm just using my finger. You can use saran wrap. You can use lots of different things. I am going to be ripping this as I put it on. I don't try to make it a perfect pattern or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I go back in and add just different pieces of paper. One thing that I have found with these, the kind of quirkier they look, the quicker they sell. I don't know. But anyways, I really enjoy making these. They're, like I said, this one's, I'm not going to be real elaborate with it. I'm just going to be putting the paper on, using the Mod Podge, and I have it on this long, it almost looks like a paper towel holder, but it's really tall, and I picked it up to use it like as a hat stand, but I thought, oh my goodness, that works perfect to hold my mannequin because these mannequins can get away from you. You'll see it still like rolls around. I am able to control it better with having something stuck up in there. So if you have even just a paper towel holder or a spindle, it does help. Now don't forget, I do speed up my videos and you can slow them down in the right hand corner under the settings on YouTube. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments below. And don't forget that all of the photos will be at the end of this video. You will see as I am putting this on that there are some places that either tear or they don't get completely covered. And I'm going to show you how we're going to fix that coming up after we get this completely glued and let it dry. Don't freak out too much about these. They are meant to be pasted together, and imperfections is really what makes these how they are. Alright, our mannequin head is all dry now, and we're going to take some of this DIY dark black wax and all those little places that are showing some of the mannequin or the styrofoam through. We're just going to go over those, and they're going to blend right in. They're not even going to look like there's a tear there. Once I get all my little places filled in, I'm going to go back with just a paper towel and I'm going to rub the places that got the wax on it that I really didn't want it. I'm not trying to discolor or to tone down the bright colors on this. I really just wanted to use it to fill in those little crevices or those torn places. Our next step is, I always like to add something over the eyes to kind of give them something a little extra other than just the paper. So I was thinking about maybe some of these labels here from the new Roycycled release. However, I did decide on some of these butterflies, and I'm going to let you see what I do with them. Before I add this butterfly to the corner of her eye, I decided I wanted to put some gold rub and buff on this eyelid because I'm also going to put some on her lips. And this will be the finish of her. I don't add anything extra to her. We are going to seal this work with a Mod Podge, and I did forget, these are the butterflies from the IOD's Mio's pages. Now I do add some type of a stand to my mannequins. This one, I'm using this little silver one. I didn't like the color, so I'm using some rub and buff and some of that bronzing wax to change the color. I didn't really want to paint it. This was quicker. Once I finish this, I seal this with a clear coat, and I also add some Gorilla Glue and some hot glue. The hot glue is just for a temporary hold, and then the Gorilla Glue is for long term. I've never had any problems with my bases coming off my mannequins. This next project is an honorable mention. It is not part of the vignette, but I found this adorable little handmade cat by someone, and I thought this would be great painted in just a solid black and put in my booth for the season. Now, this could be just an everyday item, or it could be for Halloween, fall, whatever. I was just feeling of it to see if I needed to add some salt wash, which I do. I end up using the coal black from Fusion, which I love that color, and I add some salt wash and give this 2 good coats. Now, don't forget, all of the products I've mentioned are either from Aunt Bee's Attic, which I will have the link down below. I do get a small percentage to help pay for products towards these videos if you use the links in the description box. And the other products, Lordy, I cannot talk tonight. The other products that I might use will be under my Amazon links in the description box below. Once our little kitty dries, we are going to add some of the Finnabair's wax to this in that antique bronze, just giving it a little bit of a halo and a highlight around. It's more of a shadow kitty now. Our next project is a combination of 2 things I've thrifted. One is this pumpkin, which is fine the way it is. However, I want to give it some Cozy Junk Studio style. So we are going to add this second piece of thrift item that I got for $2.25. It is this beautiful leopard print. I know it is like upholstery gray because it has that weird feeling on the back of it. Oh, you all, this is beautiful. Anyways, so what I thought we would do is just cut the strips along the lines similar to the shapes of the pumpkin sides, and then just glue it on. It's just going to be a rag pumpkin. We're not going to get too freaked out about this not being perfect or having edging. We're just going to cut our little strips. We're going to glue them on, match up our patterns some, not get all crazy about that either. And you all, I love how this turned out. You'll have to let me know in the comments below which one of these is your favorite project so far. What I'm going to do is cut some strips that mimic the shape of the sides of the pumpkin. I'm going to start at the very top, gluing down a stable edge, and then I'm just going to glue down each side along the way. I'm not going to glue under the whole piece. We're just going to outline this piece of fabric because there's no reason for it. We don't need to waste the hot glue, and it's going to stick perfectly fine with what we do put down. Another thing I want to let you know is, as I go along, I am cutting some slits into the fabric so that as I go down around that shape, I can tuck in some of those pieces. You'll see right here, and I'm gluing those in, and it makes it give it a little pleat or a pucker, which adds to the whole rag pumpkin and texture. It gives it a lot more texture with those little pleats and puckers. Once I get all the pieces on, you can see at the bottom that I didn't go all the way up to the edges like I did on the top. I'm just going to glue a solid round place on the bottom just to cover up all those edges and to give it more of a flat surface versus bulk on the bottom, if that makes sense. I'm giving you a shot here showing you where I'm getting close to almost being finished. And then we're going to come straight to the finished project. And look, you guys, it looks good, don't it? You just don't know until you get it finished. Okay, so I'm going to be ripping off the original stem here and leaves because we're going to make our own stem. And I'm going to show you, I saw this on Pinterest, so it's not my original idea. We're going to use some brown paper. You can use probably any kind of thick paper that's easily wrinkled up and crinkled up. This was just a bag that I had, so I thought I would use it. You can even use probably that brown wrapping paper from the Dollar Tree. We're just gonna form a stem, and I want mine to look kind of like an old crooked stem, almost a little creepy crooked. The original idea that I saw, they used Mod Podge to form theirs and glue it together. I'm just going to be using hot glue. It's a lot less messier and it works just fine. Once I get it sort of in the shape I want, I'm going to take it over to my pumpkin because I am going to keep one of those one part of the stem to attach it to. I'm using the new cast iron by Fusion paint here. You all, this color is amazing. And when I get finished painting this, I'm going to go ahead and put some clips on this to hold it in place to dry the way that I want it to. And the paint helps work as a glue as it dries. While that dries, we are going to add our little cut out circle to the bottom of this pumpkin. And we're just going to use hot glue to do it with, and the circle's not perfect. It's more of an oblong shape, which is fine because it is fitting the hack job that I did on the bottom of this. But you know what? It's fine. This is going to cover it up. And again, we're just using hot glue. All right, our stem of our pumpkin is dried, and we are going to go ahead and use some hot glue and put on that original braided stem. We're going to put hot glue up in here, and then we're just going to put it on top of there, and I'm going to press it together to get it to bond, leaving a lot of the browned paper at the bottom. Did I just say browned? Brown paper. That's one thing. You have to leave some brown paper. You have to leave your paper. It doesn't have to be brown. Lordy mercy. It's like 3:30 a.m. y'all, and I'm voiceover in this. Probably not a good idea. But anyways, we are going to add more paper to the bottom of this stem to give it a base that will blend in with our pumpkin. We're going to paint it the cast iron color as well. Still using the hot glue to get it stuck together. Wrinkle that paper before you stick it on there. Crumple it. And then just kind of fiddle with it until you get it the way you want it to look. What I did was I ripped some of the pieces to make it almost look like the edges were like little leaves or something, or just a jagged edge. As I'm doing this, I'm looking at this stem and I'm just not happy with it. It just is standing up too straight. I don't know. So I'm going to start fooling with this and bending it and twisting it and crumpling it until I get it the way I want. And it finally goes my way, you all. Alright, so the last step we're going to do to this is well, not the last step, there's still one more. We are going to paint the base of this with that cast iron. The last step is, once this dries, we are going to add some of that gold rub and buff and some of the bronze Finnabair Wax to have that little stem kind of blend in with the beautiful goldish color on this leopard, zebra type print. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be leopard, but it actually has more like zebra stripes. I love it though, either way. Our next project is a more traditional, well, I don't know that I'd say traditional. It has a little bit of metallic look, but I want to give this a little bit of a dark look. So we are going to add a couple different things here. One, we're going to add this Paint Couture black chiffon glaze, and we are going to go back in and add some of the cast iron paint. Once the black glaze dries, we're going to take the cast iron just along the top near the stem. I have already painted the stem cast iron, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that the stem was the same color as the pumpkin, which I thought was very odd. So now that we have this glaze on, I'm just going to go ahead and go in with this cast iron and just kind of bring it out from the stem and go down the pumpkin a little bit, but not all the way around. The last step we're going to do to this pumpkin is we're going to add some of this rub and buff gold and this antique bronze by Finnabair. Sorry, my words are still not coming out. And then I'm going to go over the whole pumpkin to tone down that shine still with just some black wax from DIY. And this pumpkin is done. Our next project is a wreath. Now, this wreath is beautiful just the way it is, but, you know, we've got to add some dark to it. I think I paid $6 for this. I bought this and the pumpkin that I redid and another pumpkin coming up for really cheap. Like, I think this wreath was, like I said, $6, and then the pumpkins were either $2 or $3 a piece. But you'll see the cute little velvet one coming up next. Alright, so this one has velvet pumpkins on it. And what I'm going to do is take off some of this, the leaves and the different things that's on it, and the flowers, to, again, give it more my style. What I did was I thought about leaving the plants and things on here, the foliage, to save me some time, but I ended up deciding that I wanted to paint them a solid instead of just brushing over them. So you'll see that I do remove some of the foliage and go over them. I'm using fusion paint to tone down these colors because it has a built-in sealer. And it does cover very well. I use like 3 or 4 different colors, but you can use just plain acrylic paint. You know, don't forget that you guys don't have to use the products that I'm using. Use what you have at home. But if you do want to use the products, again, they are available at Aunt Bee's Attic. In the description box below, you'll find the links. So this is that color Everett. I love it. It's almost a green gray. And I'm just going to paint these little pokey things. I don't know what they're called, but they're gorgeous in this color. Now, I do end up leaving these on, but I take off the rest of the foliage, and I'll go through each one with you as I do it. We're going to start out with these very large, I think these are, no, these aren't maple leaves, maybe oak leaves. I don't know. I don't know my leaves very well. Plants I know, but leaves not so much. So, like I said, I do try to go ahead and paint these with them being on there, and then I decided I wanted to fully cover them. Now this is a fusion in, I think, Oakham. Remember, you can paint faux greenery. I mean, you can paint real greenery for that matter, but these were like a silk screen feeling. You could kind of see through them, so they were more of a fabric versus a plastic. And they painted so beautifully, you all. And you can paint these all different colors. Like, I'm just painting mine solid. You will see I do add some dark wax on one color, but I do go back in again and paint these this solid oakum color. Next, we're going to paint these little sprigs that I just pulled off in the color French Eggshell by Fusion. The reason I chose a lighter color is because I do want a little bit of contrast in here to go with the dark, and not just all oranges and browns, if that makes sense. So we're going to move on to these leafy-like stems, and I'm going to paint them in Manor Green by Fusion. Now you will see upcoming where I do remove those large leaves and go ahead and paint them that oakum color to give them a solid look, because I just didn't end up liking the kind of speckled look, even though that's what leaves do end up looking like naturally. So while some of these leaves are drying, I went ahead and pulled the flowers off too, and I did leave these yellowish leaves on here because I am going to leave them their natural color. I thought that we would darken up this wreath itself. Now, what I did was I just grabbed some of my dark wax by DIY. Any dark wax will work, or should work, and just go over it to darken up the wood, just like if you were going to stain something. So maybe stain would even work on this. I'm not really sure. I've never used stain on one of these, but I thought the dark wax would work perfect. Now we're going to start adding some of our foliage back in, and mine are all dry. What I decided to do with this French Eggshell is to add some dark wax to it, because they are a little bright, but again, like I said, I wanted that contrast. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the wreath and just brush over them with that, what's left on that big brush. So I did not use all of the leaves that I painted or all of the foliage that I've removed. I just added in what I thought that I wanted. This is going to be not too overwhelming, not really a minimalist style, but not really a full, or as much at least that was on it. So I'm just deciding what I want to put back on and arranging it how I like it. These pieces were glued in when I pulled them out, so I would recommend using hot glue when you place these back in the wreath. The next part that I'm going to add did not come on this wreath, but I found these yesterday when I was out thrifting for 99 cents, and I just love the color. I thought that the beautiful, kind of like almost the French Eggshell look, and then that Manor Green matched really well with what we've went with our painting of the floral. So we're going to go ahead and add some of these in. To finish this off, I am going to add 3 of those flowers back in, and that's it. I think 3 is plenty. I noticed with this wreath that it had 4 of the large leaves, 4 of the yellow, and I can't remember how many of the flowers, but I kind of like to do things in either 1s, 2s, or 3s. I did leave 4 of those yellow leaves the way they were staggered. They were fine, but when I added the flowers back in, I thought that 3 would be perfect. Now you all have to let me know what you think about this. This is not a true Dark and Moody, but we did deepen some of those autumn colors up. This just gives you a little bit of an idea of maybe what you can do to alter some of these very bright factory type of autumn pieces, if that's what you want to do. Like I said, it was beautiful the way it was. It just needed to be just a tad bit more my style. If it would be mostly my style, I would have added a lot darker colors, but I felt like just a little bit would be okay for this piece. The next project is another pumpkin. I paid $2.10 for this. It is weighted. It feels like it has rice or something in it. It's very nice made. It has a beautiful velvet covering. Now, I would rather it be a deeper color of cinnamon, but I'm not going to do anything to this. I can handle a little bit of bright. So we're going to just do something to this silver, literally glittered stem. I'm just going to add some of that mixture that I have left over from the cat earlier of the coal black and the salt wash, and getting as close as I can to the fabric without touching the fabric. And there's going to be a little bit of silver left down there at the bottom, but I'll show you how we fix that coming up. We're not going to leave this matte black. We are going to fix the stem of this, and guess what? We're going to use some of this antiquing bronze. Now, like I said, if you have some gold rub and buff, if you don't have either one of these, just use some metallic paint and dry brush it on. It will work to give this black some dimension. All right, now you see what I'm doing? I'm covering up that silver with this wax. I didn't want to take the chance of getting the black paint on the velvet, but I knew that the wax would not show up much if it did get on there. Our next and final project is going to be using some of the new recycled release called Label Masterboard. Now these will be in the description box below. You can get these from Aunt Bee's Attic. Don't forget she has $9 flat rate shipping, and also she has a large selection of products that are always quite a bit cheaper than the other websites. I'm just going to cut out my labels, and I'm going to use the Paint Couture Decoupage medium to put these on. Now I want to tell you all that decoupage medium is so flat that you can't even tell there's a glue on these papers. Well, I really wanted mine to have a little bit of a shine, even though I want them to look vintage. I don't know, I just really wanted a little bit of a shine, so I went back over with my polyacrylic in high gloss. I made sure not to get any of the either the decoupage medium or the polyacrylic on the glass, and if I did, I just kind of wiped it back because I don't want to discolor the glass. I want the labels to seem like they're just stuck on there. Now with this particular label, I made it a little large because what I'm going to do is sand the sides off to make it perfectly fit the bottle. With this last little bottle, I really wanted to use it, and I was trying to find a label that already had print on it to fit it, but I couldn't. So I thought, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity to do something different. So I'm just cutting this label off here, and I'm going to add a stamp over top of this. Now originally I had decided to cut out a mushroom and add it over top of this, but then I thought about it and I thought I'm going to find a little stamp that'll fit perfectly inside, and it was a mushroom stamp, so it turned out great. I did want to come back and show you that I am sanding the edge of this off after this dries, and it just gives it such a nice look on the edge, almost like a torn look. And then I go back and seal that as well. I hope you all are ready for the photos, because here they are. You all will have to let me know which one is your favorite. Don't forget how much I appreciate you all. All of the comments on my last video got so much love. And all the new subscribers, welcome. All the older subscribers, thank you so much for hanging in there with me. And I really hope that I get to get more videos out really soon. I'm trying. You all, I have a full schedule. I do have a vacation coming up soon, so I promise to try to get them out before I leave. Now, I just wanted to say again, thank you, and I will see you in the next video.